Hello everybody, Sam from RoadTrailRun. Let's take a look at the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 2, $145. It releases in April 2021. My US 8.5 weighs 10.12 ounces, 286 grams. So it gains about zero point 0.6 ounces, 17 grams over version 1. So a US 9 should come in about 10.3, 10.4 ounces, 294 grams. I think the weight gain is well worth it. So it's a 30-25 stack height, same as the first version, but it gets a new midsole package with Topo's Lively Zip Foam as sort of the top layer. It's still a tri-density midsole with a firmer medial piece and then a bit firmer than the zip foam below the zip foam. The upper is a debris mesh instead of the earlier ripstop. The earlier one was kind of warm and a bit stiff. This is a much more flexible shoe. Of course, it has Topo's anatomical toe box. It has a very nice lace-up system. We've taken them in New Hampshire and Colorado. The fit is true to size. You can see those little yellow lace loops that lock the tongue. The Mega Grip outsole has proven very versatile. It's now full coverage. We've taken them, Jeff has taken them up on Green Mountain Boulder. Excellent, excellent grip for him in all conditions and a much smoother, softer ride than the Ultra Venture 2 or the Mountain Racer 1 and much more stable than the Ultra Venture Pro. And Renee in Nebraska for the written review is going to give us her take running the women's version through the rolling, muddy dirt roads of Nebraska. So now I'm going to give you some impressions from the run. I took them on road. They're excellent on road as well. They have very nice flex and they're very stable on the trail. I took them on some kind of more urban trails here in New Hampshire as well as road for a couple nice runs. And Jeff took them way up on the mountains up there in Boulder. So let's get into the review. First, the fit is true to size, no question about it.
And of course, it has that wide anatomical toe box. A little worried about the folding on the lateral side. No real issues, but it might bite a bit on a narrower foot. But I have a narrower right foot here, and the fit is really good, really good. Teeny touch loose at the heel, but my wider left foot is solidly held, so that says, yeah, this will be a little bit better for wider feet, but the hold is generally very, very good. Lace up is really impeccable. You can see those little yellow lace loops maybe. They really hold the tongue in place, so we've got no migration of the tongue. Of course, there's a nice toe bumper here, plenty of room. This is a shoe with lots of room, true to size, but very well held. I also noticed, and this may be more part of the ride, that our medial firmer piece of foam kind of keeps me well aligned, the arch well supported, and we've got a really good Ortholite sock liner here too. This is not at all the more kind of constrictive fit of the original, so it's a really fine fit for long miles, long days. Okay, borrowed a wood pile here to talk to you a bit about my ride here after my second run in the Topo Mountain Racer 2. First, this is a very different shoe than version 1, which had a quite firm, stiff ride. Here we have quite a bit more flexibility, and I'm going to show you that. You can see this is a very flexible shoe. We have no rock plate. I wasn't really running on anything technical.
Jeff, who ran them in Boulder on more technical terrain, reported the rock protection was more than adequate.
However, what you'll get is unusual, I think, for Topo, a very smooth rockered ride. There's no feeling that you kind of got to get past the heel here to get a smooth rolling toe off, pretty much on all kinds of terrain. So that is really nice. The other thing you'll notice for sure is our layer of zip foam, which is below the foot here. It runs from here all the way forward. Below that we have a moderately firm foam right here about where the yellow line goes along. And then on the medial side, oops, we've got that firmer plug, which provides some support, and that is quite firm foam. However, this is in no way kind of a stability feel. What you'll feel is plenty of just medial arch support without it being overbearing in any way. So that helps you get off this pretty broad heel, moderately broad heel, and forward. And that's a very distinct sensation. I didn't really get to test the rock protection, but there's plenty. There's one thing that concerns me a bit, is you can see how pliable our debris mesh is here. And I feel a little bit of pinching on my narrower foot right in that area. Lace up is really impeccable here. We've got a almost unpadded tongue. There's a little bit of kind of mesh. Then we have the little loops, which I'll try to show you. The little loops, cord loops that lock the tongue. On the inside, the tongue is attached to the top of the upper, the top of the edge of the upper. It isn't a full kind of gusseted tongue. You can also see that really nice Ortholite sock bed there that really keeps you very nicely supported. We also have, for some stability, a TPU clip here that runs along the sides, around the back, that can hold the gaiters. You can see the hooks. Runs on both sides. I think it helps. It's nothing too overwhelming, but it stabilizes the heel nicely. Now, if you ran the Mountain Racer 1 or hiked it, it was really almost like a hiking shoe. In firmness, this is much softer. What you've got is basically a gradient of layers from a soft, bouncy layer underfoot. That's your zip foam. Then your somewhat firmer foam below that, with on the medial side that kind of post. And then you have the Vibram Mega Grip outsole, which plays nicely in that mix. This is a relatively noisy shoe on the road, as all Mega Grip shoes are, but it runs very smoothly there too. I ran through some mud, plenty of grip. So what do we see this shoe for? Well, I think it's just a definite all-arounder. It's not quite in the cushioning class, especially the Forefoot with this 30-25 stack of, say, a Speed Goat, but it's much more agile, much more flexible, and it has some decent flex there. It's very comfortable. If you have a wider foot, you will be very, very happy here. And generally, I think Topos fit me anyway a bit better than Ultras, which tend to be sloppy. Overall, the underlays here hold the foot really well, so it's just a very comfortable, supportive upper. So it's an all-around trail shoe, but it can also be door to trail. I've run quite a bit of roads in it. Perfectly pleasant, other than a bit of noise from that Vibram Mega Grip outsole. But it isn't harsh. It isn't overly firm, because we've kind of got that gradient of firmness from our softer to our somewhat firmer below, and then the outsole. What would I also compare it to? You might think of it as a more mellow Peregrine, a lighter Exodus 10, because there's some of that bounce in here, some of that lively bounce, but not quite as much. But this is lighter, maybe a bit more agile than, say, a Exodus 10. Both are really good on the road. Maybe the Exodus 10's a touch better. You could also see it as a somewhat more stable and more secure competitor to the Nike Pegasus Trail 2 and the Fresh Foam More Trail. This is more shoe, more supportive, more trail, more all trail kind of focused. In Solomon, clearly this is a competitor to the Sense Ride 3. You have a little bit less forefoot cushioning and protection, because we don't have a rock plate as the Solomon does with their Profeel, but you have a livelier kind of rebound and more flexibility. So for the smoother stuff, I think it feels better, whereas that Solomon, super protective but kind of dense in ride. So we're going to have a full multi-tester review of the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 2. It's a significant positive update for me over version 1. And please stay tuned, and thank you very much for watching, and we hope you'll also subscribe to our channel.